way they think or problems with their behavior or, in this young man's case, a real lack of insight into how he had changed and how he couldn't go back to what he was doing before. And any one of us, if this type of injury happened to us, we'd go through the same thing. We'd want to go back to who we are before. And that's the second point I want to make. Your brain doesn't just control how you move your arms or your legs. Your brain is who you are. It's how you think, how you behave, your mood, your personality. And for many people, and I know there are other people in the audience here tonight who have also had a brain injury, that all changes. And recognizing that change and being able to deal with it, I think, is the most difficult thing people with brain injuries go through. And often they're in a society where there isn't anything physical to see, yet they have significant impairments and disabilities.
I think his line there when he said, it's invisible, pretty much exactly what you're saying in that point. Hi. Can we ask you to share your story? Whoever would like to start.
Of course.
It's always the mom.
It's always the mom who gets these jobs. Yes, our son Scott, he was in a very serious car crash. Oh, it's October 9th, 2012, exactly correct. And, he went through a similar type of experience. For a while, he was totally unresponsive. I think that was, that lasted maybe in it's got to be 6 weeks. Then after, certain things started to come alive, different parts of the brain, I guess, started to function again, started to wake up. The key is the rehabilitation that these victims get. It's amazing. You kind of sit there, someone comes in and says, oh, we're going to take Scott today and we're going to do this, we're going to try and walk him, we're going to sit him up, and you're thinking, how is this going to work? Ultimately, though, it all does come together. It's a really fascinating thing to watch unfold. Very stressful, very emotional, but it is a pretty amazing process what can actually be done. But there's still a lot of work to do. We're a year and a few months into it, but we still have a few things we're working on, right, Scott? Yes.
I guess I can add this. It's the motivation to keep him going. I mean, it took a while for him to come around, and when I came here tonight watching this movie, I was sort of saying, almost like you're reliving parts of it from the time of where you see the stretcher, because I was at the scene of the accident, getting to the hospital, the uncertainty when you're in intensive care, then going, to be honest with you, I didn't even realize what St. Mary's did or it existed. I got to know it fast. I got to know the people there very quickly. We were there 3 months. 1 month at the intensive care unit. And just watching how the plan and the uncertainty for us and how they embraced us is very much a family thing. While Scott was non-responsive, we all had our roles, including myself and his mom. We handled things very differently, but it was that collective piece that kept it all together. And then when he did started to come out in December, so that's 3 months in, we had, again, different roles to nudge him, including all the therapists. They were open arms in terms of telling us, making us participate. Making might be a strong term, but they wanted us to participate, because when they left at 5 o'clock and went home, we continued on with the therapy. The therapy just is ongoing. It was amazing, and there's days that you had to push Scott a little harder. As you can imagine, he's a teenager, and lying into bed doesn't seem so bad to him. But he has to walk more, and he has to just keep going. And we walked every night. I think at the unit there, they used to laugh. Myself and Scott would be up and down the hallways.
We used to have the speaker.
I had a Bluetooth speaker. We'd be playing our tunes, and I told them if ever bother with any other patients, just let us know. But we were very active, and I think that's one of the things that I found in the movie there, that it was showing that family support is as important as the therapy and the medical practices themselves. And we were being taught that as we went through. They even kept asking us, how are you guys doing? That sort of thing. And that was very good. And, like I said, I didn't even realize what St. Mary's was all about. be honest with you, I knew physical therapy and things, but just watching how everybody handled it from a medical side right through to the physical side was quite amazing and quite rewarding. And I think, Scott, you would probably find it quite rewarding yourself in terms of...
Yes, and I want to go back there.
Yeah.
Not to stay to work.
No, I don't think we want you to go back there for any other reason other than to see people.
To volunteer. Yes.
Dr. Dambrovi, can you speak a little bit about the rehabilitation process?
It's actually a very comprehensive and complicated process. Switch? Okay. It's a process that involves several different types of therapists: physical therapists, speech therapists, occupational therapists, neuropsychology, nutrition, specially trained nurses, and physicians with training and expertise in working with people with traumatic brain injuries. And when someone first comes to our program, we will work with them for a few days, and then we meet together as a team to come up with an individual program that's specifically tailored to the problems that that person has, because everyone's injury is very different and everyone requires different types of therapy or maybe even a different approach. What we did with Scott was great to work with. Scott was always eager to do more. He was always motivated. His parents were always there, very supportive, and even when there were tough things to go through, they would support us pushing him a little bit more, or getting him to do something a little bit different. And that's a very critical piece as well. If there's anything I can think of in the cases that I've seen, it's the patients who have had family, friends, and support that we're all working in concert, and they are motivated themselves, as Scott was, that do the best through the rehab process. And it's a process that doesn't end. I think, Scott would tell you that he's still working on a lot of things, besides having to go back to school and make up for the time that he lost. He's still working on rehab for his injured brain.